Let's call the meeting to order. Um, and Ben will note who is present. Do we have a quorum, Ben?
We do, yes. Quorum is present.
Pardon?
Ben said a quorum's present.
Okay,
You'd like to do roll call, Chair? Very good. Commissioner Anderson reached out to staff, let us know he wouldn't be available. Commissioner Bauer reached out and let us know he wouldn't be available. Let's see here, Commissioner Dalton.
Here.
Commissioner Cairns.
Here.
Commissioner Wellock. Commissioner Grady.
Here.
Commissioner Hazelton.
Here.
Quorum is present.
okay. Let's take a look at the minutes. And do I have a motion to approve the minutes? And after we get a first and second, we can discuss if there's any changes or whatever.
I'll move approval on the minutes.
Second it.
Okay, we have a first and second. Do we have any comments about the minutes? Any corrections, changes, anything? Okay, let's have a vote to approve the minutes. And all in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed? Abstained? Minutes are approved.
do have a follow-up question to them. We voted to include an ex-official member, non-voting member. And as all I see as a result of that is a notation on the front page. It says ex-official vote vacant. How did that work itself out? It's supposed to be Polk County.
Yes. So we have reached out to Polk County. Commissioner Pope indicated that he would not be able to serve in the ex officio capacity. And so we're waiting to hear back from Polk County about who that person will be. And so once they have that person named, they'll be joining us.
Will be someone selected by Polk County, which was our intent, I believe, at the time.
Yes, it'll be someone that is able to represent Polk County at the commission meetings.
All right, very good. I think that staff has requested that we move on to the director of Chemeketa SBDC, Matt. So, and his presentation, so we'll turn it over to you.
Great. Well, I talk pretty loud. You guys can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
We do need to record the meeting.
It does need to be?
Yeah.
Will it pick it up if I'm standing or should I sit?
You look like you're doing okay. Yeah.
Cool. Terrific. Well, once again, thanks for having me. My name is Matt Geiger. I am the director of the Center for Business and Industry at Chemeketa, which is downtown Salem on High End Union. And within that building, I am also the director of the Small Business Development Center, or SBDC, as it is known to nationwide. This is kind of this is me. This is our goals for today. What is the CCBI and SBDC? So you guys get a feel for, your commission gets a feel for what we do for the community and what we offer. And then an update on our center programming and our community impact that we've had in the last year. So first and foremost, the Oregon SBDC is a network of 17 community colleges and also with Eastern Oregon and Southern Oregon, where they're hosted. And we provide a location for the small business development centers, which do one-on-one business advising in our community and also do low-cost training. That's our mission we get from the SBA. In the nation, we're the only community college hosted network, so it makes us a little unique. I was just at our national convention in Orlando, and I found out that we are truly a unicorn. There are no other even close to the model that we operate in. And there's a couple benefits to that, which I'll talk about in a sec. In Oregon, there's over 100 business advisors throughout all the communities. In Chemeketa, I have 8 in our footprint, which is pretty good for our size. We also have access to, and our advisees have access to what's known as the Global Trade Center, which is based out of the Portland Community College. We have access to the Market Research Institute, which is based out of Southern Oregon University. and that is also a free service to any clients getting advising, which is really cool. The MRI specifically, a typical research report like that costs anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 for a small business owner, and we offer that free of charge, which is really neat. Then the graduate students at Southern Oregon get their grad credit for it as they do it, so it's a really neat program. All our advisors have at least an MBA and or real world working experience, currently running a business or retired and have sold out, have exited from that business. And then of course we partner in the Tri-County area. We cover Polk, Marion, and Yamhill counties with our locations in Woodburn, Yamhill, Valley Campus in McMinnville, Dallas, Polk Center in Dallas, downtown, of course, Salem, our main campus on Lancaster Avenue, also jokingly known as UCLA, University of Chemeketa Lancaster. And then, of course, our Brooks Center, which focuses on health services and diesel mechanics up there. We also partner with some of those programs that are completing their certificates, moving on to running their own business. So what is business advising? I get this question all the time, so I like telling it to people. What am I getting from you guys? Well, what we are is a business advisor is a trusted partner. They provide valuable information to business owners at all phases of business. So from concept to pre-venture, startup phase, and even growth and then exit strategies. We have experts in marketing, efficiencies, strategic planning, HR, and operations. My expertise is in strategic consulting, transition planning, finance planning, stuff like that. And then we also have a startup expert who meets with every single client when they come into our center. It's really, we're a very holistic center that way. These are our key areas like I talked about. The big one I like to put up there or point out right now is our marketing and branding. We are actually starting a marketing mini series coming up starting in November, which will be a 4-part series that people can drop in and take a la carte classes, or they can sign up for the whole cohort. And that will be a paid training, but it will be highly under market rates because of what we do at our center. And this is meant to supplement people that are stuck in their business and how do I get, our number one complaint is I need more money. They think they need a loan. They really need more sales. So more customers. So not a best slide on these little TVs, sorry, but I will point out this was our impact for our center in 2024. You are about a week away from our 25 numbers. Everything gets uploaded to the mothership on the 30th. That's what we call the SBA and the feds. We'll get our report in about 2 weeks. So I'll have an updated slide that I can share with you guys. But this was the capital infusion in our Tri-County area, over 2 million. We helped get businesses loans and grants. We had 10 raw new business starts. That's a key statistic right now, especially in Oregon. The Business Oregon reports more small businesses than ever. However, we've had the fewest small business starts, official start, right, in the last couple of years. So growth is right around 2%, right? It's lagging in the historic, but it's still growth. We think this is an issue of data collection, not actually businesses not starting. We think we're missing them somehow, or we're just not getting them. They're not coming to SBDC first, which means we have a marketing problem ourselves. We need to get out there and remind people that we're here as a resource. There's also a funny thing with business starts. I could ask the group, but when do you think a business starts? Anybody have an idea in your mind? Yeah, that's some people, yes. No, like when are you in business?
When they file incorporation paperwork.
That some people think that, yep. Some people do that for 5 years, never made a sale. Are they in business, right?
Concept.
Huh?
Like as soon as you start thinking about the concept.
Absolutely. And some people consider that too, right? So sometimes people come to us and they go, I'm already in business. They have no customers, no sales, no employees, no idea, no plan, no market. They just have a key concept and they think they're in business. So they mark the form in business and they haven't even registered with the Secretary of State yet. We then cannot go back and take it away. Unfortunately, with our federal bureaucracy that way. So we have to catch them at the time they register and say, are you sure you're in business? Let's talk about that. So we really think that, like I said, is a data collection problem, not an actual start problem. So the one final number I really like to point out here is last year, this is before I started, we saw 257 unique clients in our center. So far, At the end of July this year, our number was 287. So we were already 30 more, and we had 2 months more to collect data. Part of that is because of the outreach that I put together when I started this position in December to make sure that we are reminding people in our footprint what we do by getting involved in the communities. So let's talk about key programs for a little bit. So this is the other question I get all the time, and I love sharing. So this is what we have done just in my last 9-10 months. Our big one is our Latino Microenterprise Development Program. That's a partnership with SEDCOR and the LBA, Latino Business Alliance. That was a Business Oregon TAG grant, the technical assistance grant, that helped. We had 75 people go through the program before July. Currently, we have 30 in the program, and we already finished one cohort of another 28. So we'll have another close to 150 this year served. What these are usually first generation immigrants or first time owning a business or people really confused with the job market, right? I'm really good at this. I think I want to start a business, right? I've been working construction for somebody else. I want to start my own business. That's a very common one. And it's a great resource. It's a 10-week intense class. They do 2.5 hours a week for 10 weeks. I get my business instructors and my advisors to teach the class, and we hosted it at my building. It's awesome. So, Salem Capital Connections, if you're not familiar with it, I encourage all of you to come join us with this. This is once again, the Tri-County effort to get partnership with the Secretary of State Small Business Ombudsman's Office to connect resources, government resources together and have our own ability to network, but then invite the public and the business owners of the community to join and also interact. Oh man, I had a question for finance department and DHS is here. Great, I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I don't have to go through red tape to find these people. So once a month, it's the last Tuesday of every month. Next Tuesday, we're hosting it 7:30 to 10 at CCBI. Cornerstone Business Development. This is a new program this year. This is a partnership with our Chemeketa Prison Education Program, also known as College Inside. This was a brainchild of Katie Dwyer, our Prison Inside director. We threw it out at a division meeting once. This was in February. She just goes, man, there's no resources for the guys when they get out. Can they come to your center? And I'm like, absolutely. And I go, what if we go in before they get out? And she went, well, what? You could do that? I'm like, let's get it done. Within 2 months, we had a 3-week program designed. We had 18 adults in custody from Santiam Corrections participate in the program. Tons of requirements we made. We didn't do it at OSP, right? We did it at SCI, which is minimum security, but it was also full-timers. So none of these people are parolees. None of them are, some had been violent offenders 25 years ago, but this was their last 8 months, in the system. But imagine being inside for 25 years. You come out with no resources. Maybe you just had one bad day in your life, which some of the guys did. We had to read their files to make sure they're qualified. Some were, career people, and others are one bad day. And our question was, how do we help them when they get out? And that's what we did. So it was a really fun program. We're now looking for a grant to create a business book library at SCI, as well as figure out wraparound services for like maybe helping them register their business and having a grant program for that, where if they pay for it, we reimburse them, that type of thing. And maybe some licensure as well. So that'll be Cornerstone 2.0. And by the way, the Cornerstone name, that was part of the marketing week that they had to pick their own name and design a logo. And it was really, really rewarding. So we made them take ownership in the pilot year. So preparing for supervision and leadership. This is a new program with a grant from WWP. That's our workforce board in the Tri-County. They're also located in my building conveniently. This is a class that it's in its Spanish version right now, coming up in October. There'll be an online version in December, virtual version. And then we finished our English speaking cohort 2 months ago. This is for people that are low to mid-level management, or, hey, I just think I want to stay in this company and be a leader. The businesses can send people to us. We train them and then keep them in the company so people can develop leaders within their own company. One of the big complaints WP has got is the average tenure of employees is way down in Oregon compared to national averages. And it's because they hop around looking for the bigger, better deal. Why not give people career opportunity at the same place? So that's how we came up with this program. So other really neat things going on. We have our Power Lunch series. We are going to have our very first Power Lunch out here in Dallas. Let me talk about what Power Lunch is. Power Lunch is a free second to last Wednesday of every month. I know it's a weird day. Just follow our newsletter. We'll give you the right dates every month. It's a true workshop for small businesses. Instead of, you guys have all probably gone to one before, a forum lunch where they just talk at you, right? A lot of times the Salem forum lunch is like that. We're just going to talk at you. Maybe a question gets answered, but you didn't really learn anything. We have designed these to be true workshops. If you're going to take an hour and a half out of your busy day, we want you to go home taking something away. You do have to bring your own lunch until we get our kitchen reopened at CCBI. It's a brown bag situation for Power Lunch. But we have experts from all over the valley teaching that class. The one coming up on October 23rd will be at the Polk Center, right by Dallas High School there on that backside. That is Brian Brisky talking about AI chatbots and how to design your own virtual assistant in your own business. He did the very first one for us at our Salem campus. Oh man, it was amazing. So it was so cool to see so many business owners with their laptops out, making notes, recording stuff, practicing. Really neat. And then the goal is to then shop around our district, the power lunches that are successful at our Salem campus and downtown campus, to make sure that people that can't necessarily make it to Salem in the middle of the day have access. We always have our mastermind series. That is a group of small business owners that have industry specific needs. So we have a retail focused one, and we have a contractors focused one. The retail one is called Opportunity Knocks, and the contractor one is The Collective, is what we call it right now. We're very big on branding in the center. So Ready, Set, Start is the business program for anybody who calls our center asking for information and they still haven't registered their business. We use that as a trigger because then Ready, Set, Start talks about how to go through the Secretary of State's webpage, how to do all your, we don't do tax prep, but we do business formation. Like how should you be formed, right? Should you be sole prop? Should you be an LLC? It's a really good class. It's an hour and a half, twice a month, also virtual, so you don't have to travel. It's also free. We are one of the few SBDCs in the state that does not charge for Ready, Set, Start. We also don't make it a gatekeeper. We recommend it, but we don't make it a gatekeeper. Youth Entrepreneur is being revived. We did it last year with a Future Ready Oregon grant, which went away in these budget cuts. But we got a grant from a private organization to do TED Talks for high school seniors. So we will be doing a series of 3 TED Talks at my center, one in December, one in February, and then one in April or May, depending on the speaker. They will be focused on getting kids into STEM fields, tech, innovation, entertainment, like the true TED meaning. I have a really neat auditorium room at my building. If you've ever been there, it's 84 seat, basically stadium seating with a huge screen. And that's where we're going to host it. And the goal is to get 250 kids through there through this grant. So with my high school partnerships co-partner at the college. So finally, small business management. So small business management is our primary offering. It costs $750. It is a 10-month program, 3 hours a month of classroom, and then 4 hours a month of advising. And then the idea is that you will work another 30 hours a month on your business, not in your business. So weekends, studying, reading, meeting with other advisors, etc., going to meetings like this. And that's September through June. Graduation's in June. Different topic every month. Think of it as an MBA for a business owner, right? But it is non-credit. You do get a certificate at the end that is transcriptable. However, it's non-credit. We are working right now with HEC to try to get it as credit for prior learning, to get people into the Bachelor of Applied Science program, which is now at Chemeketa. It's the first bachelor's program at a community college in Oregon. It's a really neat program. So we're trying to get our SBM as credit for prior learning. Like, oh, you already have an associate's. Basically, now you're into our 2-year BAS program. So pretty neat deal. And it's very robust. So I'll just run through these instead of going over a bunch of them. But marketing deep dive, I already talked about. This is all coming in the last quarter and in 26. The business of art. Art in general seems to be dying. I've been getting a lot of calls from art centers around the area. Please come teach something in my center. We need more artists. We need more high school students to decide to become fine artists, graphic artists, performing artists, all the stuff. So we are doing a business of art series that'll be at the Woodburn Art Center. It's going to be our first host. Then we're going to do it at the Willamette Art Academy in the spring, later in the spring. Really cool program. Cornerstone 2.0, I mentioned, that's our new wraparound for the prison program. SBM in the evenings. We're going to start an SBM, a shortened version of it it's going to be at YVC in McMinnville starting in January. We are looking for participants for that still. I need 10, otherwise I can't go. My accreditation guy won't let me without 10 enrollees because that's my break even for the college. Expanded Shemeca Table podcast. So do you guys have, this has sound? I want to see if this works.
Should.
Okay, I want to see if this works.
It does.
So we have a podcast studio and we have a podcast at my center.
There we go.
Shemeca Table, the community college experience. It's time to pull up a chair. There's a seat for you at our table. And now your host, JD Shin.
Back. Too many clicks here. There we go. If you know the name JD Shin, he was the Dallas Chamber of Commerce director back in the day before we got him as a customized trainer at my building now. He also runs our podcast where he interviews community members and focuses on how education has influenced them in their life and specifically has Shemeca influenced them. The next month, there's a former professional basketball player that was a Shemeca grad. I forget his name, but he's coming in. He's our second favorite 7-footer is what we call him. So, and then also customized training is at CCBI. A lot of people forget about that. What customized training is stuff that doesn't fit into normal traditional education models, or if you have a specific need for a certificate or a licensure, we design those programs for your company, right? One of the big contracts we have is DEQ septic tank installation and maintenance. To do that in Oregon, you must have your DEQ certificate, right? The instructor always does a joke. You're allowed to pump the septic tank. You just can now not put that anywhere else without your certificate, right? So you have to, and then installing them, you have to know how to lay the lines and all the stuff. We do that training at our building and we have the contract with DEQ for that. We also train the trainers of the flaggers, the guys that do your road work. That program is at one of our ODOT contracts where we train the instructors to then go around the state and train the pods of flaggers around the state. So we're actually working on a grant right now to update the curriculum that we got from National Transportation Safety Board too. Really, really cool thing to modernize everything. So, and then finally, we're going to have industry specific mini series starting with the business of art. We're going to do a contractor series, a kitchen series, and a professional office series that'll include architecture, medical, insurance, lawyers, that type of thing. It's one thing they don't teach you when you go to school for that stuff is actually how to run your practice. So we're going to do a series on that. And then finally, we're going to do a trainer presentation series. This is going to be focused on stuff like I'm doing now. How do you present a professional presentation? How do you talk to people? How do you engage? How do you design stuff? And that is going to be led by we have an instructor on an online school that is the dean of instruction, and he's going to come do that. We're starting with Shemeca staff as our test pilot on that, and then we're going to open it up to the world. So, yeah, get through that one. Sorry. Once again, customized training. Lori and JD and Sarah MacArthur are our customized trainers. If you see those names, you can always get them through me. And then there is a new link now on our website that actually takes you right to an e-form that gets information. For a while, we were also hidden. Customized training is like, how do I even find you guys? Now we're available. So, and I went over some of our key programs here. The other one is we also do the ODA, Oregon Department of Ag pesticide licenses. And we do a tractor safety course over on our Ag Hub campus as well. And that's something that Sarah runs. So, that is all I have. It's a lot. I talk fast as well. Sorry. But it's very exciting what we're doing over there at SBDC. And I look forward to getting input from you guys and to see what is your specific needs in your community, because we can design something for you. That is the best part. So, and it's my favorite part of my job is I can actually go, you need this, let's make it. So anyway, and that's my contact info. So
Awesome presentation.
Huh?
Awesome.
Oh, good. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, as usual, I have lots of questions.
give it to me.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Oregon just declined significantly in business friendliness on the rating, dropped 11 points to number 39 in the nation. I sense it. as well. The emphasis is not there at the government level for business and trade and that sort of thing. The governor's 5 or 6 priorities, I just looked up some of them. They're climate, addiction, mental health, housing, homelessness, etc.
No
Nowhere
business
is there any
development.
mention of business thriving, prosperity, that kind of thing. This sort of thing we in this room care a lot about.
Absolutely.
But what's gone wrong? Well, why the heck can't they get the principle up there at the top rank that prosperity and jobs and business thriving helps with all of these things that they want to solve: housing, joblessness, climate change. People are more generous if if they have a thriving business. They give more to charity. They can do more with climate. They can help their employees get educated, et cetera, et cetera. So I have other questions, but what's gone wrong up at the top?
Well, so my analysis of it, because I've been in the business community in Oregon for 20 years. I mean, I ran my own business, ran other people's businesses. It literally is because of the top. We do not have a business-friendly governor with priorities that care about that stuff, unfortunately. I do work with Business Oregon quite a bit, and they're doing the best they can because they get told by whoever's appointed to run their stuff, who is a cabinet, it's appointee, it's not an elected official, right? I will say from our SBDC legislative days that we got to do this year, it was really, really informative. Met with Rep. Scharf, Rep. Mannix, Rep. Evans, and Rep. Wynn out of Portland, who, by the way, is the sole business owner. You want to know what's wrong? The sole business owner on the Business and Commerce Committee.
Why does
Out of 7.
Why does that not
Is the only
surprise
person who's
me?
never signed the front of a paycheck, right? And he owns a couple restaurants. He even told us, our group, he's like, I'm looking around the table and we're voting on business laws that should now move to the floor out of this committee. And he's like, I'm the only business owner here and they don't know what they're doing. But it's because the committee's appointed by whoever and it's not a priority. And that's unfortunately not a nice answer or a good answer, but that's what it is. They feel they prioritize.
Don't you have
their
an obligation to educate them as well as educating the workers?
And we do when we go to our legislative days, and we have a few reps that are on our side from both sides of the aisle. I will say it did help Business Oregon this year. Funding at least stayed flat for Business Oregon. The problem is costs have gone up anywhere from 10 to 15%, depending on what industry, maybe more if you deal with international products. So flat is actually bad. I mean, it's better than a cut, but yeah. I mean, me alone, I had a 6% salary increase that I had to deal with and a 10% for my adjunct professors. So that means everything I delivered went up. With
My point of view is my family's been in business since 1851 in this county. So I have a prejudice toward business. I find what you're saying is disappointing. And you're working in an environment that it's certainly at the state level that's not encouraging, let alone the national level now, which is back in a trade war to drive us back into the Smoot-Hawley days. You might recall those times. Also known as the Great Depression.
Yes. I will tell you I went to national conference for SBDC in Orlando in early September. The SBA associate director was there talking to us, and they're encouraged nationally, right? But he did put up the big map, and Oregon, Washington, California were bright red in business growth. So once again, nationally, the average is business is growing, GDP is growing just under 2%, but it's not equal in all states, right? And that's why it's tough right now for us. So, yeah, really good comments though. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Next thing, how does what you're doing over there relate to Dallas? You're aware that we have no available land for commercial development? We let that go for years and years, and now we're paying a price for that. We also haven't built the only thing we built down in our industrial area in the last 15 years is a U-Store-It facility, which has no employees. This is not encouraging. What can you do to communities like this that have become bedroom communities and are focused almost entirely on livability because that's the low-hanging fruit in a town like ours. We've lost our industry. We lost Tow Motor, Caterpillar Tractor. We lost Tyco's Industries. We lost Weyerhaeuser. You know, these are big players. We lost them all within 5 years, 15 years ago, and we haven't been able to replace them. What can you do for us?
So, so I'm going to focus your question a little bit for us. So,
It's a rhetorical question,
well,
by
I
the
get
way.
it. I get it. But so where we come in the ecosystem is for the support of the true small businesses, right? So our goal, we are the under 200 employees, under 5 million in top line revenue. That is our sweet spot. Probably 95 to 97% of our clients fit into that mold. Our goal is to make small town USA, right? Mom and pops thriving again, right? That's the idea. And also to make sure that people who want that for their lifestyle, that it's not a job, that it's a true entrepreneurial venture, that they can hire people, they can replace themselves, and grow sustainably, right? The right way. One of the really neat things we're going to have coming up in the start of 26, which was not on the board yet, we're going to be doing a workshop on the silver tsunami. I don't know if you guys know that term in the modern economics. So basically the silver tsunami is the current boomers who over the next 5 years have owned their businesses for 25 to 30 years and they don't have anybody to sell it to. They don't have a family member who wants to go in it. And it's a vicious cycle of,
Yeah.
I created a business and then my kids decided to go to college. They didn't do anything in the field of the business. They went and did something else. Now they don't want the business, which has been making money and providing for the family for 25 years. So two things are going to happen. Either major corporations are going to be buying these up and gobbling them up, turning them into whatever and making them go away, or entrepreneurs are going to be able to grow through expansion, or a true entrepreneur won't even need 20 years in experience in the business and can come buy in and build it. We're putting together a program right now with Business Oregon and the Mid-Willamette Valley Council of Governments to talk about a funding program to help people with no money or little money get into some of these. And then what we're going to do on our center is we're going to talk about transition planning, deal strategies, how to work with the retiring business owner on a structured buyout plan, carrying the contract, right, so to speak, instead of just going and getting a $2 million loan, which, by the way, you don't get anymore, right? Like banks just don't loan on businesses like they used to. Even when I started my business in 03, I got a $100,000 line of credit, like no problem, because they're like, oh, you're starting an insurance agency? That's a good business. You have a good business plan. Here's your money. That does not exist anymore. So we're going to be doing a workshop on that. The second thing, or the second major category we do is we interact with all our local chambers, specifically out here, you know, responding to Tyler. What can I do to come help you guys? Tara over at Dallas Chamber. And then we're trying to be involved to make sure people know that the resource is there. You know, our goal is to think of it like we're like a professional coach, right? We can't do the work for people. We can't do the work for the cities, but we can give really good guidance. We can set up systems and structures for them. And if business owners take them and run with them, we're there with them along the way. But we can't do the work, unfortunately. That's where we're slightly different than an economic development company like a SEDCOR, even like a workforce partner like WWP. They have a little bit more hands-on, boots on the ground type of direct impact. We're more of an indirect impact that way. So, yeah.
So I'm a big advocate of SBA, and I actually used SBA when I was starting my own company. And I was just thinking aloud that a lot of potential business startups, et cetera, nobody knows about SBA. And simple little things like the registry of all the people that have registered in City of Dallas is a community outreach of just these things are available. And small businesses have zero money. They're paycheck to paycheck. They can't afford to hire a consultant, whatever. And people just don't know that it's out there to help them get started, et cetera. So, I mean, maybe we can leverage a few things within the city that are already there that won't be intrusive and could help that basis. Just a thought.
And we would love to host. I have like a SBA think tank night, right? Come down, learn about SBA lending, right? Our advisors, one of our big things we do training on is how to prepare people for that loan process. So for the line of credit, for the 7A program, right? And really review everything before they go to their bank to make sure they don't hit any pitfalls along the way. So, but we would love to host something like that. I have a partnership with Laura Leone, who's the director of the Polk Center, so we can always use that building. And then I know Tara was saying once their building is like, I don't think it's visitable yet officially, is it? The
Have to
chamber?
get a certificate of occupancy.
That's it. Yeah. Once they have that, then they'd be willing to host some like meet and greets and other stuff too. And there's been a few other businesses in town that have larger properties. I know like the Tap House and Salt Creek Cidery and what's your fiber optic company? The one.
Willamette Valley Fiber.
Thank you. Yes. They have that nice community room as well. They said they'd be willing to host a workshop as well for us. So
I could host a workshop in our building.
yeah.
Do you have some thoughts about our move here to center our commerce, let's say, in our small town America with the new National Historic District downtown, restoring the shops, restoring the buildings, capturing our history here, and so forth? Nearly all of our available and decent spaces downtown are now occupied. We have very few vacancies, and those that are vacancies aren't exactly the pick of the litter, let's call it. But do you see a future for that kind of thing? Because we have a lot of small businesses cropping up here in downtown, and one of them who cropped up downtown a few years ago is called Open Road. I don't know if you've heard of them or not, but they become an international company and one of the big employers here in Dallas now.
Small Town USA is on revival mode. I mean, all the stuff we get from our national SBA reports, SBDC reports is that's happening. And even in Oregon, Canby has seen a big up jump in their little downtown area. Well, Sisters has always been pretty good, but they were doing something to try to avoid just the tourism piece of it, right? Because they were having the problem where they couldn't get people to live in town to actually work at the shops because they couldn't afford to live in town. Right. So they were having that issue and they've been doing some development. I think it was along like townhomes and different types of tiny home living. And then at the Central Coast also down in Coos Bay, they've been doing a lot of new development. Part of their deal is they're really hoping for that Deepwater port to get approved on the coast. So they're trying to develop the infrastructure now to be ready for it when the boom hits. But
my sense is here, for instance, we have a workforce. 83% of the people who have a job who live in Dallas commute out of Dallas for work. We have some that commute in, of course, to balance that, but not entirely. So we have, I think, the workforce. You'd think these days the workforce would be a big lure for industry and commerce, but apparently not, because we haven't had a new building built in downtown Dallas in 15 years. So, and we're trying to get one built. We even bought a lot there. We, the Urban Renewal, bought a lot, and we can't attract a developer. We have some that nibble at the bait, but they don't take the hook.
Zone in?
Yes, we do.
It doesn't cover the downtown.
It does not cover downtown. Okay.
But we've tried a lot of different things. But actually, as I said, we tend to focus on livability. And what we've done is we've got a great big town now. We've got 18,000+ people, probably 30,000 people in the area that call the zip code and Dallas their home. And yet we can't inspire industry and commerce here. We don't have a single wine tasting venue. We're the second largest wine producing county in the state, and we produce some of the best wine in America right here. And we don't have a single wine tasting. We don't have didn't have a brew pub. We have one now. But it's out of town. It's not downtown. So we don't have a bookstore. On and on. How can you over there inspire people to start businesses like that can thrive and succeed? Not simply, start a business, but succeeding in a business is really the tough part of that.
Once again, our part in the ecosystem is to demystify the process for people and then make sure they know that the resources are there. That's why we're going to start doing these workshops of, so you think you want to start a restaurant? And my restaurant advisor is going to talk about, this is what it takes to start a restaurant, you know?
But
And
part of it is that, you know, the codes in Oregon are just frightful. We have more bureaucracy here than you can shake
do.
a stick at, and that's the nicest thing I can say about it. You want to take a nice old building and turn it into a restaurant? God help you if it hadn't been a restaurant before. God help you.
well, that's why, like, on that same line, food carts have been a really big lower barrier to entry right now. A lot of people are starting that to test the waters. So, but yeah, question over here. Thank you.
It's well, so it seems like food carts, solo ventures are going to be really what takes over in Oregon. It seems like, just because, I mean, right now we have a manning and a material issue, right? It costs a lot to have people. It costs a lot to buy material. My question was, and I guess to that point, do you guys plan on getting involved with the high schools and actually, rather than just doing the TED Talk, get into the high school and talk to these kids about solo ventures, getting started, you know, on that baseline? Because I mean, that's the biggest thing. They've got the motivation when they're out of school. If you can keep that motivation, then, you know, I think that's really going to be what helps us. So what, you know, what's your plan, I guess, for as far as
Add to
getting
your
involved in high
question.
school?
We have a 77% graduation rate at Dallas High School. 77%.
Terrible.
That's terrible. How do you keep them in school? You know, they used to have shop classes and stuff
I
when
know.
I was going there.
Oh,
They taught welding, and they do now too.
Yeah,
Those
they
are
do
the
now.
kids
They've
that
changed.
succeed, by the way, the ones who get into the shop classes. Are the
Absolutely.
ones who graduate.
Yep.
The ones who are
create that
just
work ethic.
adrift, you know, the rest of them are just adrift or something. They don't
Well,
graduate.
yeah, like I said, you gotta create that work ethic early on, and once it goes away, it's hard to get back.
They
you
don't
know?
get a driver's license till they're 24 or 26 years old.
That-
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the most confusing things for me, actually, when I read that stat.
I served with
Like,
people who didn't have licenses when they got into the military, you know, 20 something plus people who just never got them. So, I mean, like I said, you know, the motivation I think is going to be the most
Yeah,
important to
but-
get in young.
And specific to your question, so I work strongly with our high school partnership piece. For those of you who don't know, at Chemeketa, there's two major high school programs. One is College Credit Now, so kids that are advanced can enroll at Chemeketa and get college credit. It's pretty amazing. They basically graduate early from high school and they're already on their way to their associates. The other one is what they call the dual enrollment. So these are where the kids can take that class to help them graduate. Sometimes they're behind. Sometimes they had a life thing that maybe caused them to miss a year of high school or something like that. And it keeps them on pace. Then they're with the Oregon Promise and the Chemeketa Scholars Program. If they graduate with a 3.5 or better, they get to go to Chemeketa for free for 2 years, which is pretty amazing for credit, which is awesome. Where we come in with the high school partnership is the Youth Entrepreneur Program. This is the one I was just talking about was the TED Talk for this term, basically. But in the spring again, once that last TED Talk is, we're going to enroll another 20 kids in Youth Entrepreneur, which is a 3-weekend cohort program where by the end of that almost month, they are presenting and pitching their business idea to a panel. Almost, they don't get any funding, unfortunately. We're trying to find grant money for that, but it's practice and it gets them that business idea motivated like a Shark Tank type of thing. And they get judged and they get critiqued, and they also have a business advisor the whole time. And it was really fun. But last year, one person actually, she signed up for services. She was a senior at Woodburn High School and she signed up, and now she has a balloon animal entertainment company that she was like, but she went
Awesome.
to our fall
Yeah.
class and she's graduating. Well, she just graduated. Yeah. In the spring, she went to our class and she came in. It was amazing.
What do they find, like, those 20 kids, how do they find out about this program?
So it's through our high school partnership. So the high school partnership coordinators tell it to all the school counselors. That's the channel, right? And then it's up to the school counselors and the school's own personal delivery system to let us know that they're interested. But we recruit from all over. I think we had one from Dallas last year, maybe two. We had 4 or 5 from McMinnville, 4 or 5 from Woodburn. Weirdly, not a lot from Salem Kaiser, and that's the largest district in our footprint. Like,
Well, that's why I wonder
So-
about, you know, how it's being communicated. Is
Yeah.
there any, I guess, thought of you showing up to high schools and giving out presentations on this. So there's no secondhand information being given. You know, I mean, I'm sure the counselors are great, but things fall through the cracks.
So I'm so glad you asked that. So I actually just had a meeting last night, actually, with Francisco Saldivar, who is our apprenticeship and career tech education dean at the college. And we are putting together a community outreach team to put me, our high school program dean, out at the schools over the next couple months to not only talk about, cool, you're interested in welding. Are you going to go work for someone, or do you want to have your own shop, right? And that's where it'll come in. Like, you got to get your, journeyman and all this done, but now maybe open your own shop, right?
That's great.
It's
That's
going to be
awesome.
great. I am excited for it. I was a high school sub when I got out of college back in the day, and I coached for over a decade. So I love talking to the kids. I love getting in there and encouraging them. But I forget your name, gentleman over here. But one of the problems is the last 25 years, they haven't been encouraging anybody to go into trades. Like, it's all been college focused in Oregon. And
All over.
unfortunately, we have to swing back out of the ditch, right? Like, it's going to take, I think it's going to take 4 to 6 years of really encouraging people to get it back to about a 20%, of 20% of people going into trades, which is what we need to sustain the plumbers and electricians and HVAC people of the world for the next, 100 years. So.
Those are those solo businesses too. You don't need employees for those types of things, which is
absolutely
great.
not. And you can make a good living,
Mhm.
especially charging $1.75 an hour to, run wire at a house. Like, not a bad gig. So
What? Why didn't I do that?
I know. I have some clients that, due to confidentiality, I can't tell you who, but they're in the trades, and I'm sitting there going, "You are killing it."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but they're coming to us because they're like, I have employee problems. I don't know how to manage my finances. So we've deemed them, there's a term we're coining called accidentally successful. We have this group of people that because they're good at what they do, but not how they do all the other stuff. And that's where we come in. And it's so rewarding for us because we can get them lined up and then go, hey,
You're probably familiar with this, but Chapter 292 of the Experimental Aircraft Association over in Independence has a teen build program. We have about 20 teenagers involved in building aircraft. They build an aircraft under mentorship, one-on-one with the senior people, and they sell the aircraft, start another project. We're doing some of that stuff in Salem now. So you might acquaint yourself with that if you're not familiar with it,
Well,
because it's pretty successful program. Some of these graduates from these programs are working for Boeing right now, or they're aircraft and mechanics. They're working on a Constellation up in, if you remember those airplanes, up at Aurora. So they're very successful.
I know Precision Aeronautics out of McMinnville there, they
Yeah.
do an internship program in their unmanned program, their drone program. That's pretty cool.
Well, aerospace is a big deal in Oregon. I mean, we have more stuff going on than people realize in the aircraft, drones, and business here. And that's a career move for
Absolutely.
young people.
Just before you go,
Sure.
yeah.
Put it instead of what can you suggest for us to outreach to people? I'm sure you have prepackaged things that we may be able to use. I'm not sure if our mailing list is a good idea. But what other things could we in the city potentially do to leverage the benefits of your?
Absolutely. So most importantly, I would say is right now we're giving most of our information through the chamber, because that's our business conduit. Make sure that that Tara is sharing as well stuff that's going on, and then Laura Leon over at Dallas Polk Center. She's new like me to this area, and she wants to be a resource for that as well. Let's put it that way. Her focus when she got there was ESOL, adult GED, because that was the main focus at the Dallas campus, right? And now she's like, how do I work with career tech ed kids? How do I work with small businesses? So the outreach is starting. So I'm glad you asked. Secondly is, I'll have my cards today. Shoot me your email and make sure you're on our newsletter, which will give updates as well as what's been going on, so people know what resources are available. And then feel free to always reach out to me and say, can you come talk at this? Or can you send me resources on this? Or can we have coffee and design some type of program, right? That this is a need that keeps coming up. Can we teach on it, right? Think of me as a conduit of information to the college as well. So if it's a 4-credit program or certificate program that we don't do, I can be that access point as well. So,
And just to, oh, sorry, go ahead, Peter.
Just thinking of the Downtown Association, when they have a meeting, potentially pulling into something like that.
absolutely. And I would love to bring an advisor out as well. So you can meet, somebody who's, I advise, but not as frequently as my staff.
The
So,
Oregon Main Street program is a wonderful program to revitalize small towns all over Oregon. There's too much Portland-centric talk at the legislature and so forth, and we get left out a lot of it. The legislature just canceled those programs, the $200 to $400,000 grant programs to rehabilitate our historic buildings. They just zeroed it out.
no, I'm familiar. I live in Woodburn and we got cut as well. Even though we were the fastest growing city in Oregon officially, and they still cut us from their Main Street grant. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But that's a mistake, long-term.
Big mistake. Yeah.
Long-term mistake, because that's in business. Those businesses have been here for 120 years or so, and you invest in them now, they'll be here for another 100 years.
Yeah, one more suggestion for you how to get young people involved. Boy Scouts of America has a entrepreneurship merit badge,
Oh,
and
okay.
they always need an advisor.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
Okay, so if you talk to the council, local council, and you could get yourself or somebody on your staff on the list,
Oh,
and
great.
any kids that are boys, there's girls that are interested.
Yeah.
In that,
You speak in the
What a good idea.
speak in the
Is there
microphone.
it is on.
a big Scouts? Is it a lodge? I don't even know what they call them anymore. Is that what they are out here? Troop? A troop. Thank you.
There are troops. I'm
Are
not.
there troops out
Yeah.
here? Okay.
Tara would have the information on the local troops.
Cool. I'll follow up on that for sure. That's always a great resource too. Cause like you were mentioning, I mean, you get them in there when they have that spark, now you're going to keep them going and we have a great business program at Chemeketa too. I encourage some of the people I've talked to from Youth Entrepreneur, go to 2 years of just business associates and figure it out when you're 18 and 19, right? And then you may not have to go to Willamette to get your MBA or whatever. You can just go right into entrepreneurship. So, and we have an Entrepreneur 145, it's ENT 145 at Chemeketa. So it's under me. So I don't get to teach it yet, but I'm hopefully going to. Yes.
And one more thing, maybe it's because I used to be in meetings in your building with the American Society of Civil Engineers.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Monthly meeting was in there.
Yeah.
And engineers are terrible at business in general.
Okay.
There's a lot of good engineers that start their own 1-man, 5-man firm
Yeah.
and just struggle because of marketing and just general business sense.
Yeah.
But they're also required to have continuing education.
Okay.
Now that the licensing board is pretty generous on what they will consider as continuing education, they would probably love marketing or
Okay.
business as a
Okay.
class.
Gotcha. And have it qualify as a CEU for their
Yeah,
license.
they need 30 hours every 2 years.
I like that. I know the CCB, they'll take up to 12 hours of just general business classes. We don't even have to certify it, but I'll check on, what was the group again, you said?
American Society of Civil Engineers, but you might want to just talk to the
Okay.
Engineering and Surveying Licensing Board.
Engineering services.
Yeah, the state board. They could,
Yeah, for sure.
make sure that they would be agreeable. I'm sure they would be. Probably encourage it.
Yeah, what a great idea. Yeah, absolutely.
There are a lot of startups. Engineering firms are very strange because they run from 1 man to tens of thousands,
Sure.
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 But there's an awful lot of 1 to 20
Yeah.
employee.
And
Sure.
that's where we live, like that SBDC. I mean, we live in that world. So yeah. Cool.
And Peter, just so we could, I wanted to make sure to add on to an answer to your question. In regards to referring folks to the SBDC, when we have folks that are coming in to look at a new business, or even if they're coming in for something unrelated, like a building permit or something like that, we always make sure that we ask the question, have you talked to the local SBDC? Do you have the resources you need? So we do make the referrals and we do send out information from them through DBI. So it is something that we're doing. And then we've been and then also I introduced Matt over to Tara. And so Tara's been great at facilitating that information too.
freebies and fodder to go out to the business community here that is non-intrusive and provides a free referral for business just in a newsletter format.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that Tara and Helen from the Downtown Association, they're working together to try to figure out what their members and the folks in their communities are looking at in terms of their need for classes. And I know that that's something that they'll be communicating with you in terms of
Yeah.
some stuff in the future.
Yeah, and Tara did join our small business management cohort for this coming up year. I created a scholarship program for newer chamber executives, right? That weren't necessarily entrepreneurs, so they could learn as well to help their own members. So that she's going to be I'm glad she's in a class because she's a great resource that way. But I think it's going to be a big two-way street over the year. So yeah.
If I may interrupt, I have to go to California. So if there's nothing requires a vote that requires a quorum, I depart the scene.
We don't have no action items.
Okay, thank you. Thank you
Safe
for
trip.
coming. Good luck. Appreciate it. See ya.
I had one more question about your programs.
Yeah, yeah.
It's is it the Crossing Road? What was the
Cornerstone?
Cornerstone?
Yeah.
So from my own personal, I guess, knowledge, I was just wondering, as you said, you guys kind of service different types of incarcerated. Some have a bad day, some are career. Are you guys planning on, or are you currently creating a data set that shows, how your program can help repeat offenders from
Yes.
going back in? Okay.
Yes. So two things on that. One, we've only had one person get out so far. And he was released to Medford, but he has already contacted our office. So on our metrics, the first thing is how many people actually sign up for advising after taking the program. And then we're going to track, because they do have a offender number still, I forget what they call it, a CID or something like that, right? We can track that, and I can get data through my Prison Inside program to see if people reoffend, right? And then we can do the math on recidivism on the back end. But since it's such a new program, I would guess till 27, we probably won't even have.
Yeah, no, I
any
get
data.
that. That
But
makes sense.
over the next 8 months, we have a handful, 6 or 8 more that are being released. And the one thing I did learn, in Oregon, you don't get released to where you served your time. You get released to where you offended.
Oh, really?
Right? Isn't that a great
Oh.
old weird law, right?
Yeah,
So
really.
you committed the crime in Medford, you go to state pen, they move you right back to Medford when they let you out.
Right back where you live.
Right back. So that's a challenge for us because SBDCs are territorial, like I talked about. So I'm actually going to be doing a training at my state leaders conference coming up on how to handle that population, right? The unique challenges when they come out. But so far, the guy that got released to Medford signed up with us because he's like, I know you guys. I don't want to go to another advisor in another area. I met you through the program, right?
Yeah,
So-
no, that's sweet.
but we think it's going to be a really big recidivism turn. The other program we're modeling off of is the construction program out at Snake River.
Okay.
They have a ridiculously low recidivism rate. It's like under 5% now
Yeah.
for people who go through their construction trades program.
Yeah, well, I mean,
So-
you're giving them contacts, no matter what, they're getting a phone number for somebody who's not involved with their old life. So, I mean, I think
Exactly
it's really
right.
cool.
And that's the other thing we really liked about the program at SCI is because they don't have parole officers. None of these people will have parole officers. They will be full-time, did their time people.
Get the
So-
full freedom experience so they can
Yep.
not want to hopefully.
But we've sat there and said, we're gonna raise our hand and we'll be a check-in for you. We will be an advisor for you. And that's what get back into society, start paying taxes again. That's what you pay your taxes for that's why we're a free service. So yeah,
Sweet. Okay.
yeah, we're super excited about it.
Great program. Yeah,
Yeah, and great questions. I love
yeah.
the stuff. So it's good
I
stuff.
taught school for a few years and
Cool.
I'm all for this. This is fantastic. We just, my company, we build affordable housing and we just completed a big project for us that has in there 9 or 10 young adults who actually aged out of foster care and were lost, basically. Rescued by Community Action Agency and now working together to become somebody,
So
get their license, get their ID, finish their school education if they're doing that, or trade education. So, yeah, I'd like to have you come and speak to them maybe, or
Oh,
somebody
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great.
And get involved with that community action program for those youth. So there's another building in Monmouth that's completely housing youth who were homeless. So being able to save some of those kids early, get them in the
Absolutely.
workforce, be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, anything else?
You're gonna leave your business.
Yep, I have business cards here, and
That's
then
very
give me
good.
yours as well. I'll make sure you get put on our newsletter, and then you can just unsubscribe if we bug you. But we're only twice a month on our newsletters. Once is our update, and once is our e-blast, just for like, don't forget this is coming up. So yeah,
Great.
we don't.
Okay, Trevor, do we have time to go through the staff report?
Oh, you mean me?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes, I can go through the staff report and hit a couple of
Okay.
highlights here.
Yeah,
First, under priority 1 for the Loch Rial project, phase 1 of the project is pretty much done. Ellendale's back open. And so phase 2 is going to be going into design soon, and then hopefully construction will begin summer of 26. And then with construction beginning summer 26, that is the time when development can begin to take place on that part of the node with in conjunction with our work there, since sewer will be able to finally service that area. The next part I have is the table we received from the rail company regarding the costs in bringing the track into operable condition. Obviously, I think this will be a conversation that'll be better served with everyone in the room at a later date with some additional time. But those numbers there are just for you all to chew on and think about before the next meeting. With the 791 project, we've met with 2 interested developers. Staff is going to begin a scoring evaluation process of those proposals that we've received. And then we're going to be having a discussion about entering into some kind of next steps with those developers sometime in October. So by the November meeting, we should have a general update for you all there. Additionally, what we have here is going under the DBI statistics there. The total number of businesses continue to climb. We're still hovering just below 50% with the businesses with contact info, but all of the new businesses appearing in there and signing up are leaving their contact info, so that number is going to rise pretty regularly. And then as you'll see there, we've completed 9 BRE visits this year and then 7 non-BRE visits. And the thing that really differentiates the two between those visits is the BRE visits are very intentional and focused solely on capturing the health of the business, what they are looking for as they're looking to expand, and what we can do to make sure that they're staying in Dallas. And then those non-BRE business visits are us just visiting in the business, whether that's with the chamber, the downtown association, and just doing a general check-in. Sometimes there's some overlap there, but I'm just trying to be transparent with how we're classifying those, and to where if not asking the specific BRE questions, then we won't classify it as that. But we've met with 16 small businesses so far this year, and the visits have been wonderful. Everyone is doing relatively well. Additionally, we organized a visit with West Valley Industrial Park, as well as Sedcor and Business Oregon, and we were able to connect the developer there with both Sedcor and Business Oregon in terms of just finding that connection, and then also Sedcor and Business Oregon being able to provide potential resources to the site, as well as potential tenants for the future buildings that will go there for the shops. Additionally, the couple of other things to highlight here is the Chamber of Visitor Center have hired a new part-time employee. Their recent employee was a college graduate. She got her teaching certificate, and now she's teaching here at a local school. And the local Chamber and Visitor Center were able to hire a new part-time employee with a background in tourism. And so we're really excited about that, and that will be able to help expand their capabilities there as it relates to tourism. And then the final part is we were able to reach out to the property owners of the former Rite Aid property. The auction related to that property has occurred. A transaction has occurred, but that information cannot be publicized until the bankruptcy proceedings are completed. So they'll be letting us know once that's all done. But we hope to have
That's
some
good.
news
That's
on that.
Progress.
Yes. So our hope is that that new building owner will be moving forward, relatively shortly.
Great. So I wanted to go back to something that Brian had mentioned, and he was concerned about, that we've run out of commercial space, commercial area, land. So the Lock Rail node, will that include any land for commercial? Could you address that a little bit?
The Lock Rail node predominantly is commercial land.
Predominantly is?
Predominantly is. So that the Lock Rail node, with the new zoning that will be adopted by the council at some point, will include, I believe it's close to 45 or 50 acres of commercial zoned land. There's also some elements there where there's going to be parks and open space, as well as some additional zones for housing. But the purpose of that master plan node is to facilitate commercial growth in the community, and that is its main purpose. And so that, combined with the Lock Rail Node sewer project, is going to help facilitate development. And we have a property owner out there that owns a few parcels of land that has already come and met with us in person here at the city. And once the phase 2 of the project is designed and construction is scheduled, they have an interest in hopefully beginning construction in tandem with that, so that they can begin to start soliciting tenants for their buildings once they're built.
And so there will be areas for mixed use or for, like commercial on the ground floor, maybe housing above it?
So in terms of what the mixed use looks like yet, the city doesn't have an existing mixed use zone. So I know that's something that's still happening at the staff level. But the mixed use may look like traditional vertical mixed use like we have here in the downtown. Could also be horizontal mixed use, which is where housing is adjacent to commercial uses, not necessarily on top of.
Yeah.
But yes, the Lock Rail node also includes an area for mixed use, so residential and commercial, as well as just general commercial, medium, and high density.
Is there a plan to have more written information about that? Maybe a newspaper article periodically about what's the purpose of the Lock Rail node? How are we doing on the sewer line? We get all those kinds of questions,
Yeah. So the city recently launched a podcast. So the episodes are about 5 to 10 minutes, and they cover a variety of topics. And that's part of our effort to make sure that we are disseminating information at the city in a variety of mediums. And so we have the podcast, which will have updates related to this. I know that because I will be on that episode talking about it. And then we also have other folks like Tara from the Chamber will be participating, Helen from the Downtown Association talking about some of the projects they're working on as it relates to economic development. And then in addition to that, the city has a newsletter that goes out every month where we are regularly highlighting the projects that we're working on in our department and other projects happening around the city. So the information is being disseminated. But we also a big thing for us is we want to make sure that when we're really publicizing the projects is that they're at a point where they're ready to be publicized. Because we don't want to say that, this area will have commercial development and set an expectation that, that something's going to happen there tomorrow or in the next week.
Right.
But I anticipate that once we have definite plans submitted to us for that future development, that we will be publicizing that.
I think that's great. Okay. Anything else for this meeting? Because I understand we are not going to have a meeting of the, our next typical meeting.
Yeah, there is no South Dallas Urban Rural District, but obviously those two things overlap. So if there is a discussion item that you guys want to talk about, that's not prohibited.
Yeah.
Do you have a question, Peter? Not off the top of my head, but I can get that for you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately I don't know that off the top of my head.
company, a manufacturing company, yes. Sorry. Yeah, I just didn't know if it was a wood products company, a
You're talking about
manufacturing.
their old building, correct?
Yeah, the old mill site.
By the high school?
Not on the Weyerhaeuser site, but the.
Okay, yes. So that is a I guess I would define it as wood products home decor. It's a company that produces scented holiday decor that includes like old wicker rooms, pine cones, those types of things. So holiday centered decor. So I know that they're in the process of being able to habitate the building. So they're in the process of getting like the chamber is a certificate of occupancy, and so there's some sprinkling requirements needed since pine cones fairly flammable. So they're still going through that process, but we anticipate that they'll be able to start operating out of there, hopefully by the end of this year, if not early next. And that's all the updates I had, unless there's more questions.
Okay, any other questions? All right, let's then adjourn the meeting. And my understanding is we're not going into the next meeting.
There is no SD or DAC meeting.
Okay, okay, all right, meeting is adjourned.
And then for you all for next month, we moved up our EDC meeting to November 20th to make sure it wasn't the same week as Thanksgiving.
Correct. Yeah.
So Ben will obviously send you out a reminder closer to the meeting, but if it's not already on your calendar, just wanted to make sure we got that out there.
Thanks, Tyler. That was a good call to change that meeting date.
Yeah.
Yep.